Hello everyone, Cheppandis Cheppu Telsu Ledu Kadu. Hope I'm audible to all of you. And if I'm audible and visible, do state in the comment section. My name is Shubham Sagar. Today we'll do Hindu analysis of 20th September. Kadu, hope I'm audible to all of you. Good morning, Gajanan. So, okay, so I can hear myself. Hindu analysis 20th September 2025. So yesterday at the end we ended abruptly because of certain stuff, but I don't think we will have such issues anymore. But again, these are technologies because I have tried to rectify it. Cool. My name is Shubham Sagar. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Yesterday I was supposed to give you two questions at the end, right? So these are these two questions, like this is the first of the two homework which I was supposed to give you at the end yesterday. 11 MCQs, we did not do it. Again, let's have a look at this question. So this is based on previous article or yesterday's article where we have talked about there was an editorial which we have discussed, I think so, where we have talked about cooperatives, self-help groups. Good morning, Bulbul. What is the basic difference between them? So what is the answer? What do you think is the answer here? Uh, Cooperatives and SHGs, how they are separate from each other. We know this was actually the onion article which we were discussing. Why farmers in Maharashtra, they are protesting against the depressed prices of onion. Maharashtra, highest producer of onions in the world, or onion in the world, India. So yeah, good morning. Your name is Pratik, right? Uploaded. If I'm not wrong, please pardon me. I'm a little absent today. So as Gajanan has stated, cooperatives are usually large and government linked. SHGs are small and community based. SHGs are important because they are there in our GS means paper too. You know, there is a topic explicitly self-help groups, NGOs and all. So you have to make notes. SHG smaller, Kudumba Shri is one example. MCQ 13. Let's have a look at this particular question as well. Which of the following cooperatives primarily focuses on marketing and procurement of agricultural produce? So when we're talking about this onion article yesterday, Maharashtra, we have talked about these two cooperatives, NCCF and NAFED, and I have told you the difference between them. You know, what separates NCCF and NAFED? Both of these are cool. Both of these are cooperatives only, but something separates them. What is that something? Tell me something, something. Okay, Pratik. So which of the following cooperatives? I told you one works from the consumer perspective, other works from the perspective of procurement. So Gajanan has given the answer. NAFED, this agricultural federation or cooperative marketing federation, this works from the procurement side. Again, you can revise that this particular article, very important article. There were so many keywords in that article yesterday, price stabilization for this and that. And then this was consumer related cooperative. Fine. So the answer is B, NAFED, as stated by Gajanan. So let's move forward and let's come to, so 12 is C, 13 is B. Let's come to the present and let's talk about the first article of the day. So today, we will do not one, not two, not three, but yeah, not one, not two, but three editorials. Oh my God, this will be a record. I think maximum we have done is two editorials in one session. So page number 10 means editorial quit stalling. So again here, this Rahul Gandhi sir, he made certain allegations on ECI, Election Commission of India, and its functioning. These things are known to us, right? That is not new, but here we'll focus on certain keywords like CID, criminal investigation department. They will talk about what is this CID. You may have seen a series on that, or you may have seen snippets of that or reels of that on YouTube. But how CID is different from local police or CBI? So these are the things which concern us. ECI, Election Commission of India, which article 324 to 329, which particular part of Indian Constitution, part 15. Then how many means ECs and CCs are there? Earlier, only one CEC, Chief Election Commission, but after 1989, you have one CEC plus two ECs. They are all like, it is said that CEC is first among equals, but that is just, that's just a statement. There are so many other things which we have to talk about. And then we will solve some PYQs related to ECI, Election Commission of India, and different PYQs which has been asked on them. So let's move forward. So Rahul Gandhi sir, he has made certain allegations. Always remember, from mains perspective, there is one statement which you can always use when it comes to ECI, Election Commission. Multiple mains questions have been asked on them. And what is that particular statement which we keep on talking about? That election in India should not only be fair, they should also be seen as fair. It's not it is not only sufficient that it is fair, it should also be seen as fair. And then there are people who have certain skepticism when it comes to election in India. So Rahul Gandhi sir, he has accused ECI of fraud in Aland constituency, and he has raised similar concerns in Mahadevpura, but they lack strong evidence. Now, the Hindu has done investigation. They have done investigation on all these allegations, and they felt like, this Aland constituency thing holds valid. Like whatever Rahul Gandhi sir is saying in this regard, ECI has to do something about it. Fraudulent attempt to delete nearly 6,000 legitimate voters. That did not happen because Election Commission of India prevented the actual deletion, but then something else happened. What is that something else? We have to understand this thing. We know ECI is transparent in this and that, and there will be political allegations levied against ECI. That's fine. But what we are concerned here, or what is the thing which matters to us, is see what has happened. CID probe into the fraud. Here we're talking about Aland constituency fraud in Karnataka has stalled because ECI refused to provide destination IP and destination port data. So initially ECI prevented the actual deletion of names, and it was done via internet, via hacking and all those stuff. So they prevented it, but they are not fully supporting the CID, Criminal Investigation Department. Now there are certain terms which are important from exam perspective. What is that certain term? Local police, as we have just discussed, CID, oh sorry, and CBI, how they are different. So local police, they will operate within a particular district of a state, particular region. CID, they operate in the whole state. They are like the detective agency of that particular state. And then CBI will operate nationally, sometimes even internationally. They will cooperate with Interpol, etc. So, good morning, Jivan. So, these are some facts which you have to keep in mind. Local police at which level, CID at state level, they are the detective wing of state police. Detective wing, they operate not at a national level but at a state level, and CBI, they operate at a national level and even sometime internationally. So the CID probe in Karnataka did not happen, or was stalled to a certain extent, because ECI is not giving the IP address of those people who wanted to delete these 6,000 legitimate voters. So this technical data, according to editorial, is crucial. Without it, investigators cannot identify cooperators. So the basic rationale is, it's great that ECI stopped these fraudulent attempts, but they have to also share these data with CID, so that they can do more research on it, more investigation on it. Without IP port data, tracking fraudster is like finding a needle in a haystack. Okay, so let's focus here. ECI, Election Commission of India, we have just discussed the important keywords here. Their credibility are already under strain. Why it is under strain? What is the criticism associated with ECI, Election Commission of India? As we have just seen, you have one CEC, two ECs. So they are appointed by president, right? All of them are appointed by president. Executive is involved in the appointment of the president. And then CEC can be removed in the manner as judge of Supreme Court. He can be removed in the way as a judge of Supreme Court is removed. But two ECs, they can be removed on the recommendation of CEC. So they are, it's just, just formality when you're saying that CEC is first among equals. They are not equal. ECs are subordinate the way you are removing them. Then this is one point which you have to keep in mind. There was a time when they did not even have independent secretariat, the Election Commission of India. When they are working, they are taking government officers for doing their work, preparation of electoral rolls and all these elections, etc. President, vice president, parliament, state legislature. So when you are taking help of these government officers, which are agents of government, with due respect to government, obviously the credibility will be under strain. So ECI should be more forthcoming. That's what this editorial is talking about. Sir has happened in Bihar, where Supreme Court has to come in and tell ECI to use Aadhaar as one of the 12 proofs. So all these things we have discussed in earlier Hindu analysis. It is posing a credibility crisis over ECI, and they have to do something beyond it. We will not go into the political connotation of this article. We are concerned with the facts and figures, like this part. Local police, CID and CBI, how they are different from each other. Hope you understood it. What is the basic difference between these three entities which we have discussed? Then the other part is about Election Commission, Article 324 to 329, Part 15 of Constitution. Sometimes they also ask you the part, which part they belong to. And then they conduct elections of parliament, state legislature, office of president and vice president. One CEC, but from 1989 you have one CEC plus two ECs. Equal powers we have discussed, just in name, removal processes, making sure that they're not equal, so to say. And there's one more thing which I want to tell you. I've told you certain stuff. And let's say there are certain disputes over these elections which happens. Then that will be decided by judiciary. You know, dispute related to elections, how parliament, state legislature elections, vice president election happens, the dispute will be decided by or resolved by judiciary. Based on that, let's solve first question of the day, which is also a PYQ. PYQ 1 UPSC 2004. Dispute related. Chair. Hope you can see this particular question. Very good question. Consider the following tasks. Superintendent's direction and conduct of free and fair election, preparation of electoral rolls for all elections to parliament, state legislature and office of president and vice president, giving recognition to political parties, individuals contesting the election, proclamation of final verdict in case of election dispute. What is the answer? Use option elimination. This question may look tough. It is tough. There are 4 statements involved. Whenever 4 statements are involved, the question becomes automatically tough. So at least give it a try. Don't feel like, oh my God, I don't know the answer. What will happen now? Oh my God. No. So let's try to deal with it. And let's try to have a look at this particular question. Superintendent's direction conduct of free elections. So this is a general statement, right? That is their work. So first has to be correct. If first has to be correct, you are left with ACT. Preparation of electoral rolls for parliament, state legislature, office of president and vice president. That is also correct. Second is correct. So now you're left with A and D. You don't have to check for other options. Jivayan and Gajanan, they have given the answer. Don't remove the option, or your answer. Just have a look and think why you got the question correct or wrong. So now A and D, you just have to check for fourth. Proclamation of final verdict in the case of election disputes. What we have just discussed. Who decides? Let's say there is a dispute happened. Who will decide? Is it the work of ECI to decide these disputes? No. Proclamation of final verdict will be decided by judiciary. Judiciary is the one who is involved in decision related to election disputes. So final verdict is not given by them. And so why you people gave C and B? So the answer should be A, 1, 2, and 3. Any proper justification? And don't worry about it. What we have just discussed, disputes are decided by judiciary. That is the work of judiciary. That is not the work of election commission. So 1, 2, 3, all these 3. You should be stuck between A and D. A and D, in fact, should not be stuck between A and D. And any rationale here? Hope you understood why A is the answer. So again, do revise it if you feel like, no sir, A is not the answer, this is the answer, this is the argument. You can always tell me this, we can always agree to disagree, but if you feel like there is some more justification, give it. Let's solve this MCQ 2. Related to CID, Criminal Investigation Department. It's not like always I'll be correct. I can go wrong somewhere. Unlikely, but I can, So you people will have to correct me then. So MCQ2, which of the following statement about CID in India is or are correct? CID is a specialized branch of state police. It can investigate cases anywhere in India without state government approval. CID mainly handles serious and complex cases like cybercrime, organized crime, and electoral fraud. So again, use option elimination. Pratik has given the answer. Pratik, C is the answer of which question? Whenever you are giving the answer, now Pratik, write the question number, like just like this. 2C, 3B, just this. And that would make things clearer for me, because sometimes there is a time lag. You may be seeing MCQ2 or MCQ1, I am seeing MCQ2. So there is some amount of time lag. So what we know for sure, we have just seen the basic difference between local police, CID and CBI, how they are different from each other. So CID is operating at state level, local police is operating within the state in a particular region, district, and CBI is working at national or sometimes international level. So CID cannot investigate case anywhere in India. They can investigate case. Every state has their own CIDs, right? Karnataka CID and this and that. So second statement is wrong. If second is wrong, you can eliminate A, B, and D, and you'll be left with legislation has different election commission. Yeah, state legislation, but that is not the point, Anshika. They were asking even the MLA elections that is conducted by this state legislation election commission, that is state election commission, which conducts elections for panchayats and municipalities, if I'm not wrong. So that statement was correct. Do check it. So that's totally fine. And what we were discussing, bro, I forgot. So second is wrong here, and the answer is C1 and 3, as stated by Prateek, Gajanan, Jivayan. Very good, yeah. And Anshika also has a doubt. Cool, sir. Next article, page number 1. Supreme Court cites. Now, this is an article from which you can take out so many terms from pre and mains perspective. Pre perspective, preamble. Number of questions which UPSC has asked, I cannot give them all here. That is the number. You just write preamble. If you have any PYQ text for this, I have a PDF, I can share it with you. So you will realize. So we will solve some questions on preamble. Then secularism. Mains question. India has a positive secularism. How is it different from Western model of secularism? So but they're asking, ECI does conduct it. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back to what Anshika is asking. So this is the question, right, Anshika? Preparation of electoral rolls for all elections to parliament, state legislature. State legislature election is conducted by ECI only, right, Anshika? Even if you have different election, it is not different. State legislation has the same ECI. These MLA elections are also conducted by them only. You have state election commission which conducts elections for panchayats and municipalities. That is different. So second statement is correct. Do check that out. Do check that out when you're revising polity. You will realize what I'm saying. Cool. So let's focus on what we were discussing. So second means this one. So secularism. Hope you have seen that particular question, what we are discussing here. How Indian model of secularism is different from Western form of secularism. That is one point which we have to understand. What is this article all about? So there is a plea which has been filed in Karnataka. Karnataka is in news. Sometimes Tamil Nadu is in news. So what has happened here? So Mysuru Dashara festival will be happening. And state government, they have invited Banu Mushtaq. Mysuru Dashara festival, Hindu festival. Banu Mushtaq ma'am is a Muslim man, and the petitioner has an issue with this. See this petitioner H.S. Gaurav, he is objecting to author Banu Mushtaq inaugurating Mysuru Dasara festival, and she is saying that Banu Mushtaq ma'am, she's a Booker Prize winner and all those stuff are fine, but she's a non-Hindu and she should not perform this Hindu religious puja. And this is the point which you have to understand here. And she has filed up, and he has filed a petition regarding this. What is your view on this? Please remember, these are also case studies. These are important from polity perspective. They're also important from GS4 perspective, ethics perspective. So you have to have your perspective because they will ask you your perspective. Do you agree with H.S. Gaurav sir that Banu Mushtaq ma'am, author, Booker Prize winner, she should not inaugurate Mysuru Dashara festival because she's a Muslim and this is a Hindu religious puja. So here, there will be different judgments which will come into picture, which you have to understand. And very important article, which kind of model India has. So argument, ribbon cutting, secular activity, Hindu religious activity. So you have article 25 to 28, freedom to practice your religion. Then in preamble, there was an amendment via which secularism has been added to your constitution. Secularism has been added to preamble. Preamble, the introductory part of the constitution, which tells you the objective. What is the objective of our constitution? What was the basic rationale of our constitutional makers? So preamble, secularism added. So he is saying that only a Hindu dignitary can perform such rituals. No one problem I seen. Very good. Jivayan is such a good girl. Okay, let's focus. So call the state's invitation to Mrs. Mushtaq a political act. This is not done. Do you support it? Do you feel like this is wrong? Banu Mushtaq ma'am should not inaugurate Hindu religious Mysuru Dasara festival, and Jivayan is from Karnataka only, and that's what she's saying. So earlier on September 15, High Court dismissed the case. Karnataka High Court, they were like, dude, we have bigger issues to deal with. Please move away. So, but again, with due respect to H.S. Gaurav sir, that was not exactly what they said. They dismissed the case. Petitioner claimed that High Court failed to recognize the religious restriction. Now, when I deal with these kind of cases, 42nd constitutional amendment, very good, Jivayan, I feel like we have talked about Waqf in our previous Hindu analysis. We have talked about Waqf, and Waqf is a Islamic body, or so there we have talked about non-Muslim members. Go back and revise where we have discussed Waqf, non-Muslim members. So then in Waqf you can have non-Muslim members. In Mysuru Dasara festival, you cannot invite a Muslim guy to inaugurate it. So don't you think it's a dichotomy? Don't you think it's a contradiction? I don't know. Maybe my knowledge is limited, but I feel something is off here. Now, from exam perspective things which are important. Ismail Farooqi judgment, Keshwanand Bharti judgment. You may have heard about it a lot when you're talking about basic structure. So it's here, there, everywhere. We will delineate each and everything. It's a very important article. I can give you 20 PYQs on this single article from pre 5-6 PYQs on mains perspective. Very, very important article. You have to revise it multiple times. So see what Supreme Court is saying. Supreme Court is saying that, and they are actually applying a rhetoric here. They're asking the petitioner, have you read the preamble? And secularism is added by 42nd constitutional amendment, as Jivayan is saying. And Jivayan is from Mysuru. And Supreme Court bench is saying that state of Karnataka is secular, as India is secular. And this has been stated time and time again, especially after or in the 1994 M. Smile Farooqi judgment. Now you have to remember these judgments. Sometimes what people do is they try to mug up all judgment at once. Don't do that. This Smile Farooqi judgment came after Babri Masjid demolition. So Babri Masjid demolition happened, and then government passed an act to acquire certain land. Based on that, there was a case filed, and then this Ismail Farooqi judgment came, which stated that India is a secular country. But we are not a secular country like Western model of secularism, where they have strict separation. We'll come back to this article. Let me show you certain stuff. So in Western model, India has a positive secularism. What is the basic meaning of positive secularism? This is principal distance. Principal distance means we respect each and every religion. We have no state religion, but we can intervene. Unlike Western model of secularism, French secularism, etc., where they don't interfere, and they're like, no, you cannot do namaz, etc., in public places. There's a strict wall of separation. In the case of Western model or European secularism, you can understand like this. We don't have that. We respect all religion, but we can also intervene if we feel like you are violating fundamental rights, abolition of untouchability, banning of triple talaq. So we do intervene in religious practices, but our state has no, or our country has no state religion, unlike Pakistan, etc. So hope you're understanding where we are going with this and what is the basic difference, and do solve that mains question which was asked on this particular topic. How Indian secularism is different. We have principal distance, but we can intervene when necessary. Unlike Western model, which has a strict wall of separation. State is different from church. State is different from religion. State will not intervene in the matters of church. That model we don't have. So that is one thing which we have to keep in mind. That is one thing which is very important. Cool. And you can give these examples, untouchability, banning of triple talaq, opening of temples to all caste. There was a temple entry movement. If you read history, if you read Travancore Kingdom of Kerala, so Travancore Kingdom, there was a custom which used to happen that people who are from lower caste forget about going into temples. They will not be allowed entry to roads which are leading to those temples. Then a temple entry movement started in 1920s. By 1930s, temples were open to different castes. So all these are example of India's positive secularism. So hope you're understanding where we are going with this. Cool. So let's come back to what we were discussing and what are the things which are important. So Ismail Farooqi judgment 1994, after Babri Masjid abolition, India is a secular state. And again, they are saying that Supreme Court is saying that this is a state event, bro. If it was a private event of yours, you can decide. You have freedom of religion, practice of, you can do whatever you want to do. But at the same time, what you have to also understand is, in that scenario, you may not invite him, but this is a state event, and state does not distinguish between religion. Cool. So again, now Keshwanand Bharti, S.R. Bommai, they held secularism as basic feature. When you will read GS mains paper 2, there also you have a topic, basic structure. Basic structure which emerged from Keshwanand Bharti judgment. This Keshwanand Bharti judgment of 1973. But I always tell you people, whenever you're reading about basic structure, you have to read about 5 judgments. SGKMW, but still not allowed temple to caste. Yeah, that's illegally they can go GY. How much they are allowed, formally, that's a different matter altogether. So what we are discussing here, SGKMW cases, Shankari Prasad, Golaknath, Keshwanand, Minerva Mills and Vaman Rao case. Remember these cases, they are very important. Via these cases, this basic structure evolved. This is not there in the constitution. What is basic structure? Certain portion of constitution which cannot be amended by parliament, otherwise they will alter the meaning of the constitution. So secularism is also part of basic structure. Basic structure is continuously evolving. Very important. I keep on telling people, very important, explicitly mentioned in GS mains paper 2. And it is continuously evolving via different Supreme Court judgments. So S.R. Bommai, Keshwanand Bharti, they kept secularism in as a basic feature. You cannot amend it. Let's say in future, but because in 2019 Jagannath temple priest is not allowed, honorable president, very good. GYN is such a so yes sir, can you please brief these cases? We'll do that slowly and gradually. We will talk about all these cases one by one, Anshika. But right now, just focus on the Ismail Faruqi judgment, secularism, important part. Keshwanand Bharti judgment. We'll talk about SGKMW later on also. Right now, basic structure, because if I tell you each and every part of all these 5 judgments, now that will take its own 1 hour. So I can make even a separate video on that. Don't worry. For now, let's focus on the issue at hand. The issue is secularism, part of preamble, and where secularism has been highlighted in these cases. Is basic structure in the constitution? No. Is it evolving? Yes. How? Via Supreme Court judgments. Cool. RC Podyal case, even before 42nd Amendment, which added means secularism to preamble, secularism was understood equal treatment of all faiths. You can see this 2024 Balram Singh, state neutrality does not stop it from curbing religious practices that impede equality. As we have discussed, abolition of untouchability, removal of triple talaq, blah blah blah. And then Faruqi judgment, Ismail Faruqi also said that. They talked about Swami Vivekananda sir, who is like religion is a realization who you are, what path you want to follow, because destination of every religion is the same. Sarva dharma sambhav. That means give equal respect to all religion. So these are the points which we have to keep in mind. Okay, sir. So let's focus on what we were discussing. Okay. What are the keywords involved in this article? Hope you understood certain portion. How Indian model positive secularism is different from Western model. This is our preamble, introductory part of Indian Constitution. This secularism is there via 42nd Amendment. You have to remember your preamble, as Anshika is stating, and Anshika seems like a good. Okay, so preamble is the introductory part. Please remember your whole preamble. Anybody, do you remember the whole preamble? Or you have never, like, anybody, do you have an idea if I ask you, can you recite it without having a look at it? Secularism, 42nd Amendment. How many types of justice we have? 3 types: social, economic, and political. How many types of liberty we have? You can see here there is a mnemonic for it. UPSC has already asked a PYQ on it. Step 4: liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. So remember these points, they are important. So now let's move on and let's talk about this MCQ 3, which I think is based on the previous article. Sorcery Julio. Very good, yeah, Jivan. So MCQ 3 in front of you. Consider the following statement regarding the tenure and removal of election commissioners in India. Have a look at it. Chief Election Commissioner can be removed only like a Supreme Court judge. Other election commissioners can be removed by President on the recommendation of CEC. The tenure of election commissioner is 5 years or until 62 years, whichever is earlier. So this is correct. CEC can only be removed like a Supreme Court judge. So these are the provisions which are important, which you have to keep in mind. So first is correct. Eliminate B option. You're left with A, C, and D. Other election commissioners can be removed by President on recommendation of CEC. This is also correct. Second has to be correct. You're left with A and D. Tenure of election commissioner is 5 years or 62 years. No, it's I think 6 years or 65. It is not 62. That's for sure. It is 65 years. So based on that, even though let's say you're confused in this 5 years, 62 is wrong, 65. So you can eliminate third option and you'll be getting A is the answer. Oh my God. Guys, I hope you are understanding. Revise this. It is 65, not 62. So third is wrong and the answer is a 1 and 2 only. So again, these questions are little dicey. You have to revise them. Only then you will be able to answer it correctly. B is not the answer, GYN. Revise it. MCQ 4, Sarv Dharm Sambhav. Here, in this particular question, use option elimination. That will help you in arriving at a correct answer. I know this is tricky. Pratik has given the answer. Cool, Anshika. So this one, Sarv Dharm Sambhav. What is the basic meaning here? Sarvdham Sambhav implies state favors the majority religion, state promotes interfaith marriages, state treats all religion equally. Choose the best possible option. Best. What is the best possible option? So Gajanan has given the answer. So first Pratik has given the answer, then Gajanan, then Anshika, and then Jeevayan. Very good. State treats all religions equally. Very good. And now find out where is Sarv Dharm Sambhav written. You know, like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. It is a part of some Upanishad. Similarly, find out where is Sarv Dharm Sambhav actually written. What is the basic source, origins of it? Preamble serves as. Again, choose the best option. Legally enforceable law, interpretive tool reflecting the Constitution's philosophy, a directive principle of state policy, a religious text guiding Indian ethics. Okay, so Pratik and Anshika, they have given the answer. Preamble, best answer is it's an interpretive tool reflecting Constitution's philosophy. Very good. Again, like, share, and subscribe. We'll talk about all these things later on. Let's move on to the third article of the day. That is page number 10, editorial, a climate health vision with lessons from India. In this particular article, you will read about different schemes, PM Poshan scheme, Manrega scheme. You may feel like, what is the relationship between climate and Manrega? We'll talk about that. Then there is another scheme, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. So there are different schemes which are important from exam perspective, and why this whole article is in news. Very important article, will help you in revision of lots of different stuff. So let's have a look at this article and what it is talking about. So context, Brazil hosted the 2025 Global Conference on Climate and Health. So Brazil is hosting COP30, Conference of Party 30 of UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which emerged out of Rio Summit of 1992, which is also known as Agenda 21, because they were talking about agenda of 21st century. Two other organizations emerged out of it, which is UNCBD and UNCCD, United Nations Convention, you know, to combat desertification, this is CCD, and United Nations Convention on Biological Diversity. So UNFCCC COP30, Conference of Party 30, will happen in November 2025. So right now they were meeting for relationship between climate and health. When we were talking about an Hindu analysis article on vultures, we have talked about the concept of one health. What is the concept of one health? That in DPSP we read this. Very good, GYM. So the basic concept of one health is our health, environment health, animal health, they are all interconnected. So here in this whole climate and health conference which happened in Brazil, and as a prelude to COP30, they are talking about the relationship between climate and health. You cannot see them in silos, but India was not there on this particular climate and health conference. And according to this editorial, we could have gone there. We could have sent some representation. I don't know why we did not send any, but again, whatever it is. Now, this article is talking about so many good things, and if you see this, and this is a very important article when it comes to establishing interconnection. Interconnection means you have this portion scheme, midday meal scheme, established or started in 1995, and then it was renamed as PM Portion Scheme in 21-22. So PM Portion Scheme, you may have heard about this midday meal scheme. We are providing children who are going to schools, government schools, with midday meal. Awesome scheme. So nutrition is linked with education, linked with agriculture. You can see establishment here. It's not only about midday meal, because sometimes some students go to school to get that midday meal, and via that they are also getting education, blah blah blah. So PM Poshan also promoting health. And again, the linkage is there. Health is when your health is better, you're getting better like you're focusing more on education. And how your health will be better? When you're focusing on nutritious crops. So everything is linked to each other when you're talking about PM Poshan scheme. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, launched in 2014, 2nd October 2014. Cleanliness, as Gandhiji used to say, cleanliness is next to godliness. Again, cleanliness, health, environment, everything coming together. Swachh Bharat Mission, they have two parts: Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen, Swachh Bharat Mission Urban. Swachh Bharat Urban Ministries, urban is under Mahua. Remember these things. You cannot understand how important this article is, because there are so many things which are interlinked here. So Swachh Bharat Mission Urban, Mahua Ministry. Mahua is the brother of Nirahua. And I keep on telling you people that please watch the movies of Nirahua Rikshawala on Dinesh Lal Yadav, Nirahua, Nirahua Rickshawala. So Mahua Nirahua, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, which ministry it lies under? If you know it, post it in the comment section. This is a tricky part. Swachh Bharat Mission. I will tell you in just 1 minute. I will give you a chance to tell this thing in the comment section. In the meantime, let's talk about other scheme. Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act 2005. It is right to work in rural areas, not urban areas. 100 days of unskilled manual work. How it is connected to environment? They are creating ponds. They are creating, lakes. So rural employment while restoring degraded ecosystem. Although government is not very happy with it. So Manrega, 100 days of unskilled manual work. You will not be getting coding work, this and that. It's all about unskilled manual work. So hope you are understanding this. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, LPG connections will be provided. Around 2016, they launched the scheme, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, LPG connections to women below poverty line, clean cooking fuel. Because even if you go to villages now, you will see, our aunties, etc., they're using woods and all. It leads to so many respiratory issues. So again, environment and health linked here. So you will ask about Ministry of Welfare. Anshika has written. Where are you from, Anshika? Are you from Kolkata? Because you're a Chaturvedi. Again, that's stereotyping. So Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, as Anshika is saying, you may feel like MORD, Ministry of Rural Development, is the nodal ministry. That is wrong. It is not MORD. Earlier it was under Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation. Now that ministry has been merged with Jal Shakti. So Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin is under Jal Shakti Ministry. Remember these things? They are very important things. They are key things. So hope you understood. If you don't know it, you don't know it. You cannot guess for Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin. Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana. LPG connections. So key insights, what they are saying, what these two authors are saying of this particular editorial, that you cannot, deal with in silos. You have separate ministry, and these ministries, they are working in their own silos. Don't do that. Come together. That's what Niti and Priyanka are saying. Very good friend of mine. And oh my God, no, that's just a lie. I don't know them. Let's focus. So where were we? Factors behind success. Why India is doing good now? Why we are, no sir, I'm from UP. Okay, Anshika. Why India is doing good? Political leadership. When it comes to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, we have seen our Modi sir. He was, going here and there, doing broom work and all. Ujjwala Yojana, again, direct PM sir involvement was there, which is actually a good thing. Community engagement. Swachh Bharat. People were coming together, posting photos, Gandhian values, because Gandhiji was, as we have discussed, he believed in that. Cleanliness is next to godliness. PM Poshan Abhiyan, parent, teacher, school, and it has been a very big success, midday meal scheme. And students sometimes, vulnerable children to go just for that midday meal, and thereby they also get education. So climate action also needs cultural anchoring. They're saying that same way, you have to associate certain events. Again, forget about, different cultures, different events. People have to come together. Community engagement has to be there. This is a common point. You can use it anywhere and everywhere. Common point. Even when it comes to police reform, you talk about community policing. Police has to take help of the local community. So that is the basic rationale which is involved here. Use of existing institution. We'll take ASHA, accredited social health activist. Who are these people? They are the people who, this particular ASHA came into existence in early 2000s. And earlier what used to happen, institutional deliveries were absent or minimal. Institutional deliveries means in rural areas, kids were getting produced in the home only because women, they did not have enough means to promote institutional delivery. And schemes like Janani Suraksha Yojana, you have these people. They were acting as a link between, vulnerable women in rural areas and healthcare system, ASHAs. So again, important part. Rishi, where were you, man? Okay, let's focus. So what we were discussing here, embedding climate links in existing frameworks. So what are the things which are important from exam perspective? Different schemes, challenges. As we have discussed, all these ministries, they're working in their own silos. They have to come together. PMUI, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, high LPG refill. So initially, many people took these LPG connections, but refilling cost was very high. So we have to go beyond just measuring output, how many LPG connections are there. We have to see whether they're using it or not. Same like Swachh Bharat Mission. People built toilets, but they were going outside to get clean air. Oh my God, it's, awesome to do it in clean air. No, it's not awesome to do it in clean air. That can lead to so many health complications. So please understand, government have to move beyond that, how many LPG connections we had, how many toilets were created under Swachh Bharat Mission. Also see how much result you're getting on the ground. So all these things has to happen. Only then health climate linkages will be fully established, and nothing can work in silos, according to these two mans who have written this awesome editorial. Framework for climate health governance, again you can read these things. Integration has to happen, community involvement, these things you can write anywhere and everywhere. Intersectoral approach is needed. Silo things will not work. Things in silo will not work. Let's focus on next question of the day. Sixth question based on preamble. I have given you a mnemonic. Try to solve it. Again, a tricky question, but a good question. See this PYQ 6. Which of the following objective is not embodied in the preamble to Constitution of India? Anshika has given the answer. I have given you a mnemonic when we were discussing this particular question, and go and revise preamble. Very important. Learn preamble by heart. Learn it by heart. There will be a day, one day in mains, when they will ask you explicitly to write this preamble. So Anshika and Pratik, they have given the answer. What was the mnemonic to remember different types of liberty? Tip 4. Tib 4. Liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship. That was the mnemonic, right? So liberty of thought was there, is there, eliminated. Thought, expression is there, eliminated. Belief is there. So economic liberty, it is not there. So the answer is B, as stated by Anshika, then Pratik, then GY, and then Rishi. Very good. MCQ 7. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, launched in 2014, 2nd October. Two components. Again, use option elimination. Eliminate open defecation, improve solid and liquid waste management, provide guaranteed wage employment to rural households, promote behavioral change and hygiene awareness. So Pratik has given the answer. Now, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, what is it? Functional toilets. People should use toilets rather than going in open air. So eliminate open defecation. That has to be correct. They're asking which is not correct. Solid and liquid waste management. Now this is your homework. You have to read about these things. We'll talk about it in detail later on. ODF, ODF plus, ODF plus plus. What is the basic difference between these terms? What separates ODF from ODF plus and ODF plus plus? So Pratik has given the answer. Then Anshika, GY, and Rishi, Gajanan, all of you have given the answer. So they are working on solid and liquid waste management. If you're doing potty has to be treated, bro. It cannot remain on the ground, right? Guaranteed wage employment, is this the work of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan? Wage employment to rural household. This is Manrega, man. This is Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. C thing is not Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Have you ever seen that, okay, we will give you money and this and that? This is not the work of Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. All these things, A, B, and D are the work. C is not the work. So the answer is C, as stated first by Pratik. And then other people also tried it. Gajanan also gave the correct answer. Other people, are you understanding why? What is wrong? And again, I know maybe the questions are tricky, but if you're making it or if you're giving the wrong answer, I hope you're understanding why. Even if you give correct answer here, the basic rationale is we should not be getting it wrong in exam. So page 10 editorial. This is I think the third editorial we are discussing today. Third editorial of the day. This is a record. I have never discussed more than two editorials in one session. Third editorial. India's West Asia policy must maintain strategic balance. So yesterday we talked about Saudi Arabia and Pakistan thing. Their pact which happened, how attack on one is attack on both, and how there is a preconceived or misconceived notion in Indian media that Pakistan is so bankrupt, this and that. And this article, yesterday's article, and even today's editorial will tell you that is not exactly the truth. They were supporting Pakistan is giving protection to Makkah and Medina. We have discussed this yesterday. Saudi Arab, and this pact is all about Saudi Arab can use Pakistan's nuclear weapons if Israel attacks Saudi Arabia. They have attacked Qatar. That is in limbo, but now in today's Hindu, there have been multiple articles which have been published which says that via this pact Saudi Arab can use Pakistan's nuclear weapons, and there they have given financial aid to Pakistan. What will be the implication for India? It was yeah, cool. Anshika. So expect again, these things will happen in exam also, Jivan and Anshika. So you have to be very aware about it. So what we're discussing here in yesterday's article on India and Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, we have said that India, it's not about India, it's about Israel. But here, this editorial is saying that India also needs to worry. Why India needs to worry? Because sometimes what happens, we'll see a particular word here, a particular entrapment. That is the word. So what is entrapment means? Let's say Saudi Arab is attacked by Israel, right? Then via this fact, Pakistan will help Saudi Arab. Great. But what happens if India attacks Pakistan? Pakistan does some stupidity and India attacks Pakistan, then via this act, Saudi Arab will also have to help Pakistan. So this is entrapment. Although Saudi Arab has nothing with us, or they are a very good friend of ours, but there is an entrapment policy which happens in international relation. Remember these words. They will be involved against us because they have signed this pact. So that is one thing which we have to be very wary of. Plus, we have to be very wary of Israel also, not too much getting aligned with Israel, because when we are too much aligned with Israel, we are against Arab states, and Saudi Arab is one of those Arab states. So there has to be a delicate balance which has to be maintained according to this editorial. We have to be very, very wary about that particular point. So let's focus here what this editorial is talking about and focus on the keywords. And also now these countries, Saudi Arab, etc., they have no longer trust in US. Why? We have discussed this. Israel attacked Qatar. US largest military base is in Qatar, and we have discussed it time and time again how Qatar is a mediator between Israel and Hamas, one of the biggest ally of US in West Asia. When Qatar is not immune from Israel attack, no country is, and that's why US, security guarantees, they also don't hold true, and that's why Saudi Arabia is becoming more and more proactive when it comes to forming or forging these kind of alliances. So hope you're understanding where this article is going. So Saudi Pakistan Defense Pact declares that aggression against one will be treated. Again, we have discussed this tomorrow. So I'm not means yesterday. So I'm not reading it again. Let's focus on the key terms. Pakistan has trained Saudi forces for years. So again, not as bankrupt as Indian media shows Pakistan to be. Saudi Arabia has provided financial aid. This we have discussed for Pakistan's nuclear program. Signed a week. The basic rationale here is Israel bombed Qatar, and that's why this whole thing is happening. In yesterday's news analysis, we have talked about Persian Gulf. We have talked about Gulf Cooperation Council. We have solved a UPSC PYQ on Gulf Cooperation Council, so you can have a look at that. Declining US security guarantee. This is one new implication which we are seeing, that these countries did no longer trust US. US response was absent during attacks on Saudi oil facility. Israel attack on Qatar, which hosts a major US base, saw no American pushback. So you cannot be dependent on America. That's what Saudi Arabia has also realized. Abraham Accord signed in 2020. Four Arab states were involved here. Bahrain was involved. Sudan, Morocco, all these small countries, they were involved. Saudi Arabia was not involved, and now Saudi Arabia will not be involved anymore. And like, even if there was 1% chance that they could sign this Abraham Accord to resolve issues between Israel and Arab state, except Iran. What was the basic rationale of this Abraham Accord of 2020? When they were signing pacts with Bahrain, etc. The basic aim was to isolate Iran. That's why this Abraham Accord was signed. Isolate Iran. Iran is not only an enemy of Saudi Arab, it is also an enemy of Israel. So because Iran has made a lot of enemies. Yesterday we have talked why Iran and Saudi Arab, they have issues, why they fight among themselves. Iran leading Shia group, Saudi Arab leading Sunni group. Iran 1979 revolution. What happened after that? They became anti-monarchy, anti-West. Saudi Arab is a monarchy. So multiple factors why Iran and Saudi Arab are against each other. Why Israel is against Iran? Again, Iran is against US. So, and US is the best friend of Israel. So again, Israel is against Iran, and Israel is nuclear armed. Iran is also, none of the Arab states, they have nuclear weapons. Iran is going for nuclear weaponization, which is not good for Israel. So Iran has made a lot of enemies, and this Abraham Accord was to isolate Iran and to maintain or to ensure some amount of friendliness among Arab state and Israel. That did not happen. Saudi Arab, at that time, there was a very high probability that Saudi Arab will sign Abraham Accord. They did not. And now after this Hamas attack and Israel Gaza war, all the things which was, there was a time period from 2020 to 2024 when it felt like Saudi and Israel, they will come together because they have a common enemy, that is Iran. But that thing has gone on a like limbo. So pact signals diversification of security alliance. You can see this. Riyadh is not solely relying on US or Israel. So Pakistan interest, Pakistan needs money from Saudi Arabia, and they will be a security provider. So again, we have discussed in international relation or in general in life, There's a concept which is known as quid pro quo. If things are happening, nobody is giving you anything for free. Always some things are involved. As we keep on talking about WIIFM, even if you don't have a radio station at your place, everybody uses this FM. What's in it for me? WIFM. So here also Saudi, Pakistan, if they are talking about for Saudi security, for Pakistan money, these are the two things which are involved. Fact complicates India's strategic calculation. We have discussed India does not need to worry, but we do need to worry because of the entrapment policy. As we have just discussed, what happens? India pro-Israel tilt contrast with Arab state hedging their bets. So we have to be very, very proactive. We anyway follow this non-alignment policy, which in Modi sir era has changed to multi-alignment. We now talk about multi-alignment. It's not non-alignment, it's multi-alignment. So here also when we are focusing on this multi-alignment thing, we have to be very wary how we are balancing Israel and Arab state. Easier said than done. So ambiguity, unclear if Saudi Arabia gains Pakistan nuclear umbrella. But again, there was another article which was published in Hindu, which has stated that yes, Pakistan means Saudi Arab will gain access to Pakistan nuclear umbrella. Remember this word, entrapment. Entrapment means Saudi Arab is not an enemy of India, but because of the provisions of this pact, Pakistan may get dragged into West Asia's conflict, and Saudi Arab could be pulled into South and Central Asian tension. Here, when we're talking about South Asian tensions, the biggest South Asian tension is India-Pakistan war. So Saudi Arab could become a part of it because of this whole, signing of pact. So what India needs to do, we need to avoid over aligning with isolated aggressive Israel. Yesterday we have talked about why Israel is, very important to us, how they have helped us in different scenarios. But that does not, leave aside the fact that whatever they're doing is not correct. Okay, let's not go there. Hope you understood. We have to maintain all pillars, balance between all pillars, Arab state, Israel, and let's see how we do that. International diplomacy is not an easy thing at all. MCQ 8 of the day, assures and reason. I will give you a cheat code in this question. Let's try to solve this question. Then I will tell you what I have observed in the last 30, 40 years of UPSC PYQs where they have asked assertion reason. I will give you a cheat code. You can use it in exam. Don't kill me if it gets wrong, but that's what I have realized when I've gone through 30, 40 years UPSC PYQs in assertion reason. At least try this question. So assertion, India's PMUI, Manrega, and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, though not designed as climate policies, contribute to climate and health co-benefits. This is from the previous article, right? Reason, intersectoral programs linking health, environment, and social welfare can produce multiple synergistic outcomes. I will tell you one thing which I have realized, which is true for more than 90% of assertion reason questions, if not more. One thing which I've realized is, and I will tell you from my experience, is that you just check for assertion and reason separately. Whether assertion is correct, reason is correct or not. So India's Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana, Manrega, Swachh Bharat do not design a climate policy. We have discussed how they are connected with climate and health co-benefits. That was the SAR or the summary of the previous editorial written by two people, which we have discussed, link between climate and health. So first is correct on its own. So if first is correct on its own, you eliminate A, you're left with A, B, and C. Intersectoral programs, that is what they are talking about. Different ministries, different sectors, they have to come together. You cannot work on health in silo, environment in silo, and social welfare in silo. So R is also true. Now you're left with A and B. This here comes the cheat code. What is you have to realize here, generally what has been seen in UPSC PYQs, at least, I'm not telling for other exams they don't ask even questions on assertion and reason. The thing is, if both assertion and reason are true, it has been seen in more than 90% of such questions that generally A is the answer. When you look for A and B, you're sure that both statements are correct. Then people are like, oh my God, how is reason explaining A? I cannot establish the link. Don't think too much. If you know both the statements are true, if you know R is explaining A, go awesome. Even if you feel like, no, 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 R is not explaining A, but they are correct, that I know for sure, go for A. And this is just a cheat code. This may or may not apply, but in more often than not, this will apply. So here it's a no-brainer. This is what the summary of the previous article was. Again, it's a tricky question, but you have to revise because this was again an editorial. That was the basic summary. These schemes, they're not specifically aligned for climate, but they are helping climate directly or indirectly. Manrega, it is right to work in rural areas, but they are creating durable assets. They are creating pond and lakes, etc., etc., thereby helping environment directly or indirectly. So intersectoral program has to come together. MOEFCC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, they cannot work separately from Ministry of Rural Development. All of them have to come together. So again, hope you understood where we are going with this, why this particular question is tricky. So the answer is A, as I think stated by Pratik. Cool. Other people also do. Hope you understood why the answer is A. MCQ 9. So some days questions will be tougher, don't worry. The only thing is we need to understand. What is entrapment? Choose the best possible option. Pratik has given the answer. So entrapment is what? Being drawn into conflicts due to alliance obligation. As we have just discussed, Saudi Arab can take part in India-Pakistan war. Pakistan can get involved in Saudi Arab-Israel conflict. So that is entrapment. Saudi Arab is not an enemy of ours. Pakistan is not a direct enemy of Israel, so to say. But that can happen because of the entrapment policy. So the answer is B, as stated by Pratik and Rishi. And Gajana also tried it. B is the answer, Gajana. It's not non-aligned stance, it's drawn into conflicts. Cool. Next article of the day. Coast Guard ship Adamya commissioned at Paradip port. Paradip is in Odisha. Now, again, some keywords. Indian Coast Guard. What is Indian Coast Guard? Is it a part of Indian Navy? If it is not a part of Indian Navy, oh my god, how it is different from Indian Navy? See, when we talk about Indian military per se, Indian Army, you may have heard me saying, talking about paramilitary forces. You have, you know, National Security Guard, NSGs, you have Assam Rifles, you have BSF, Border Security Force, you have so many things. You have, I don't know, CRPF, Central Reserve Police Force. These are all paramilitary force. In a way, they are supporting Indian Army. Some of them are supporting Indian Army. Same way you can think of Indian Coast Guard. It is also a paramilitary force. Established in 1970s, paramilitary force, which is supporting Indian Navy. Please understand, this is a paramilitary force, but more often than not, these paramilitary forces, they were under Ministry of Home Affairs. This Indian Coast Guard is under Ministry of Defense. So that is one difference. But you can think of Indian Coast Guard as a paramilitary force. Just like NSG, SM Rifles, BSF, they are supporting Indian Army, Indian Coast Guard is supporting Indian Navy. They are mainly for, patrolling, etc. They are not there with the warship and all those stuff. The warship and all these stuff, they are with Indian Navy. Most of the people, you will not believe, most of the people, they don't know the basic difference between. So Gajanan, Anshika, you have also given the answer. They don't know the basic difference between Indian Coast Guard and Indian Navy. Hope you understood. So Indian Coast Guard, they are up until the EZ region, exclusive economic zone, 200 nautical miles, which translates to 370 kilometers. So within that coastal zone, they will be having a lookout, and they will be providing us protection. That is Indian Coast Guard. Indian Navy can go beyond this. Indian Coast Guard is more about defensive capabilities. Indian Navy can be offensive if needed. So these are the things, these are the terms, these are the points which we have to understand from exam perspective. Now, Adamya. What is this Adamya shop means ship? People, did you understand the basic difference between Coast Guard and Indian Navy? Hope you understood. So this is Adamya ship. This is a patrol vessel. What is a patrol vessel? This is not a warship. Patrol vessel is not equal to warship. So patrol vessel means it will just patrol. It will see no unauthorized element is there in the exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone means we can extract the mineral resources, etc., of that particular region, 370 kilometers within our coast. Patrol vessel. So they will be doing the patrolling. Warships, it is a part of Indian Navy. It's not a warship, it's a patrol vessel. Here also you have different kind of patrol vessel. You have fast patrol vessel, you have fast patrol vessel, you have offshore patrol vessel. Again, you don't have to do PhD here. You have inland patrol vessel. So what is fast patrol vessel? Like this Indian Coast Guard Adamya is a fast patrol vessel. They can come back to the coast and they can go in a faster manner. The speed is fast. Offshore patrol vessel, they will be somewhat away from the coast. Maybe as we have discussed, these Indian Coast Guard, they will guard the EZ, 200 nautical miles, 370 kilometer. So maybe they are at 300 kilometer away from the coast. So that is offshore patrol vessel, somewhat slower in nature. Inland patrol vessel, maybe they are guarding the rivers and all. So they are inland patrol vessel. This particular Adamya is a fast patrol vessel. That is the basic meaning. And the more important part here is what is a patrol vessel and how Indian Coast Guard is different from Indian Navy. So ship Adamya commissioned at Paradip in Odisha. And just remember, they can ask you, they have asked this thing earlier also. What is this? It is a patrol vessel, warship, this and that. So it's a fast patrol vessel. And hope you again understood the difference between fast patrol vessel, offshore patrol vessel, and inland patrol vessel. Again, you can see here Goa Shipyard Limited, 60% indigenous content, make in India. We were talking about different kind of warships also of Indian Navy. There also we have seen this make in India concept has increased. The indigenous components have increased. Cool, sir. Ship will be based in Paradip. Important thing, what is Adamya? It is involved with Indian Navy or Indian Coast Guard. Indian Coast Guard. What is the basic difference between Indian Coast Guard and Indian Navy? These are the things which you have to keep in mind. Rest everything is fine. Let's focus on MCQ 10 of the day, which is based on previous article. Consider the following regarding India's West Asia policy. And now this is a new pattern. This is a new pattern of question, so that you can, understand editorial in a much better manner. So we have done that editorial on West Asia, what author was saying. So what was author saying? You may or may not agree with this point, but what was editorial saying? This will help you in reading comprehension also. Most people, they are terrified of CSAT these days. When you are solving editorial like this and solving these questions, they will tell you in reading comprehension, you don't need to put your opinion, you have to, correct answer based on author's opinion. Same way here, what was author talking about in that West Asia article? Gajanan and Rishi, they have given the answer. Pratik has given the answer. India should double down on its pro-Israel tilt. Double down means India should focus more on increasing closeness with pro-Israel. This is not what they are saying. They are saying about strategic balance. They're talking about there are so many stakeholders in West Asia, two main Arab states and Israel. We have to maintain a balance. We cannot be too much pro-Israel tilt. Maybe that's what led to the Saudi Arab and Pakistan, alliance. So India should aim for long-term regional stability and strategic balance. Second is the answer, as stated by Gajana, Rishi, Pratik, and Anshika. Very good. First thing correct. You people are so good. Just like a wow. MCQ 11. Use option elimination. Conceptual clarity is key. People in GS, they focus too much on mugging. Don't do that. My basic aim is to give you conceptual clarity in a fun manner. Fun, 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 fun. Let's focus. So which of the following statement correctly differentiate ICZ from Indian Navy, Indian Coast Guard from Indian Navy? ICZ focuses on law enforcement, coastal. Focus on that statement which you know for sure is wrong, which you know that it has to be incorrect. It cannot be correct in any scenario. Pratik has given the answer. ICs, Indian Coast Guard, cannot operate globally. They are confined to EZ, bro. Exclusive Economic Zone of India. So second is wrong. If second is wrong, eliminate A, B, and D. You're left with C, 1 and 3 only. Obviously, if Navy is operating beyond EZ, they will have more personnel than Indian Coast Guard. It's just a paramilitary force supporting Indian Navy, right? So even if you don't know, forget about 1 and 3. Even if you know for sure second is wrong, you will get the answer. The answer is C. It's not an easy question, but a tough question. C is the answer. Can't global, right? So yes, sir. Now MCQ 12. So have a look at this particular question. This is a homework for you people. If you know the answer, you can post it in the comment section. Which of the following are objectives of Manrega? Use option elimination. In that environment editorial, we have talked about many schemes. Manrega was one of them. MCQ 12 homework. MCQ 13, straightforward question, easy peasy. we have very less easy questions today. So this is one easy question. Article related to election commission. And again, like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. You people are my messenger. You can post your score. You can buy these Hindu analysis PDF at 199 per month. That will help in faster, rapid revision. I'm not saying my content is the best. Maybe it is. But what I'm saying is, if you're reading from me, if you revise my source, that will help in easy retention rather than going here and there. You can also schedule doubt session if you have any doubts related to GSC SAT, and we'll schedule a session. You can also be a part of my mentorship program. Then you don't have to pay for stout session hourly or Hindu analysis PDF monthly. Also, history NCRT series is included here, and I'll be sharing these videos of history through NCRT series chapter wise, from class 6 chapter 1 to class 12 chapter 12, I guess. Chapter means the video and the highlighted PDFs. What are the things which are important? So you can watch the video. It will be 15-20 minutes long, based on the length of the chapter, what is important from exam perspective, and then you can revise from that highlighted PDF. Cool, sir. I took one Hindu analysis that we have talked about, Veer Shaiva's Lingayats. There we have discussed class 7 chapter 4, class 12 chapter 4. So we'll try to establish a linkage here. So you can be a part of my mentorship program. All these things will be included. Certain portion will become, or after a certain period, things will become free in the mentorship program. I'm all yours in mentorship program. You can also switch. If you're a part of Hindu analysis PDF subscription, you can switch to mentorship by paying the remaining amount. You can also donate if you think I'm helping you in any way. Cool, sir. So, oh, 13th, 12th and 13th people have given the answer. Very good. So that's it from me, sir and ma'am. And I will see you people on Monday at 7:30 a.m. Cool. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rishi. And bye-bye. If you ever have doubts, collect it. And you can always tell me